dietsandreview.com, and with me today is Dr. Melina Jampolis. How are you today, Dr. Melina?
I'm great. How are you?
Doing just fine, recovering from the Super Bowl.
Excellent. Yeah, I think a lot of people are doing that. A lot of people are in your shoes.
Yes. Well, we tell everybody not to starve today, drink plenty of water, like don't do anything drastic, just treat today like, the next day and keep moving on.
Absolutely. Get right back on track. Dust yourself off and get right back on track.
Right. So I wanted to talk with you today about a few health headlines that are in the news right now. The biggest of which is probably Paula Deen coming out about her diabetes. It's been kind of a controversial topic. Some people are criticizing her for being dependent on the medication and not seeming like she wants to change her diet, where she has this huge platform and opportunity to help millions of people. Others are criticizing her for, not ever, continuing to cook the way that she does. What are your thoughts on the Paula Deen situation?
Well, I think she could do both. I think that would be great. And I would love to see her, maybe pairing up with a health expert, maybe somebody like me, who could really, help guide her in just how to make things better, or at least how to balance things out. So I don't expect some of her recipes really could be made that much healthier. So maybe she keeps a few of those of her favorites in, and we kind of do makeovers on some of the others, and just help her find that middle road, because I think that's what's missing from a lot of recommendations. A lot of experts really don't help people find the middle road. And I believe that's the path to aim for long-term success, because people don't do well with extremes on either side.
Right.
I just feel like I don't think it's too late. I think she could come back and say, yes, I'm on this medication and it's helping me, but here's what we're going to do. I'm not going to give up this, but here's a way that I've managed to make over this, which is another one of my favorites. So I think that could be really cool. I think she could come out on top, and I think she could make a big difference with a lot of people, because people really relate to her.
Right. So speaking of big makeovers, the school lunch program is getting the first major makeover it's had in 15 years, I believe. Last week, Michelle Obama and the USDA announced that some major changes with more fruits and vegetables, more whole grains. What are your thoughts on the new school lunch guidelines?
Yeah, it's interesting because actually in LA Unified, which I've been spending some time visiting those schools, and they've self-implemented those changes many years ago. So it's interesting to see how that's playing out. And I can tell you from what I've witnessed is that the kids are really having no problem with the whole grain. So if they're having a breaded chicken sandwich on whole grain buns, they're really accepting that. So that's great. I think it's fantastic that this is being adopted, countrywide. I hope that it is implemented in a way where kids aren't throwing away a lot of the vegetables. That's my biggest concern, because I did see that a lot at LA Unified, is that they force the kids to take, you don't get your tray unless you have the serving of fruits and vegetables on it, but I was seeing bags and bags and bags of little broccoli florets in the garbage, and that, is just so tragic, especially with the hunger crisis we have on the flip side in this country. So I'm very optimistic. I think Michelle Obama has done a great job bringing awareness to this issue. I think the implementation and it being done correctly, making vegetables in a way that kids really like. And one of the suggestions that I made to LA Unified, for example, was instead of having broccoli on the side, why not build it into the pasta dishes? So the kids are having spaghetti and broccoli with meatballs, and so I'm hoping that it's certainly in the right direction, and I'm happy about it, and I think it's only gonna keep us going in the better direction. I'm just a little concerned about, if it's not implemented correctly, that it may not have the desired results. We all want to fight childhood obesity and make kids healthier and decrease their risk of type 2 diabetes. But if it's ending up in the garbage can, it's just going to cost more money and put more of a pinch on the school districts, and not have the desired results. So I think it's a great start. Implementation is also going to be key.
That's a very good point. I'm glad you made it. So the other big thing going on right now is, for February, is National Heart Month, awareness for women's heart health. It's a leading, cause of death for women. What are your thoughts on women's heart health, and what so many are doing wrong and how they can very easily fix it.
I think the biggest thing that women are doing wrong is they're not thinking about heart health. They just we're very tuned in to thinking about breast cancer and our risk of breast cancer. Maybe it's because we have breasts and men don't, but we don't realize that 3 times as many women die of heart disease as breast cancer. So this is really a major health issue for women, and I think it's something that we need to think about, and we need to think about earlier. Many of us, when we do think about it, don't really start thinking about it until our 60s or 50s or 60s. And I think heart disease, it doesn't just happen overnight. It's 20 years of bad habits. So I think, women in their 20s, 30s really need to start implementing these heart healthy ideas. And the good news is that what you do for your heart is generally good for your breast, is generally good for your skin, is generally good for your energy level. But I think it's important to think about, and it's all part of a healthy lifestyle. So this is one of my favorite topics, because I think from a prevention standpoint, how I practice, which is really food as medicine. Not that I don't believe in some of the more popular medications out there. I certainly use them. I'm trained as an internist, but I really do believe that this is an area where people really can make a big difference, probably even more so than diabetes, if I were to guess, as far as keeping cholesterol levels under control through making better diet choices.
Wonderful. Well, hopefully we're getting the word out this month, and I know we all wore red at the office on Friday and trying to do our part to help. So I appreciate your insights on that topic.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's I just to go into it a little bit deeper. I mean, I talk about this study all the time that shows that by integrating things like soluble fiber, which is things like oat bran and oatmeal, and the fiber in barley and in some fruits and vegetables, by having things like almonds on a regular basis, replacing some of the protein in your diet with plant-based protein, having things like phytosterols, which are the plant-based sterols you can get. Maybe women they don't need to worry about that too early, but when you bring in all of these foods into your diet and keep saturated fat under control, research shows you can actually lower cholesterol as much as the most popular cholesterol-lowering drug.
Wow.
So it's incredible how much you can do. And what I love about those recommendations is it's more about the foods that you put into your diet instead of always talking about the foods that we take out of our diet. So having nuts as snacks, doing Meatless Monday, making sure you have oatmeal on it. These things are doable. They're livable, So I love that idea of prevention, but doing so in a really livable way. So, but it's, and I see this in my office. I'm not just saying this because I see it in research. I actually see it in real patients, real women, every single week, where they're lowering their cholesterol, lowering markers of inflammation in their blood. So it's really exciting for me.
Right. Definitely. Well, it's got to be exciting for the patients too, to be able to go in and, people like to, see the fruits of their labor, and
Exactly.
to be able to walk in and see that they made this change and it's, resulting in better health. Then
it's amazing too, because younger women, women in their 20s and 30s and even 40s tend to be more focused on the weight initially, but when they see the results of their cholesterol and their blood sugar dropping, they actually get surprisingly excited about that too. So it really is a nice thing on both ends, because you can lose weight and become much healthier. That's really long-term what the goal is.
Right. Well, Dr. Melina, thanks for taking some time to talk through some big health issues with us today.
My pleasure.
For all of us at dietsinreview.com, I'm Brandy Koski.